Alright, it is now like another 3 weeks later, but we are going to be throwing the power supply in that server. So let's go ahead and get that done. Garage is absolutely destroyed again because there's always stuff that needs to be done. But here we have the server left right where it was before. Then we just go ahead and grab our power supply. We got a 600 watt, but I think I had a 700 watt around here somewhere. Let's see. That's a 5, that's a 4. 5, 5, 4. What's this? 450. And I think that one's a 400, but I thought I had a 700 somewhere. I guess it didn't. I must have been just imagining things. Ooh, hold on. We got a 600. Okay, let's grab our 600 and call it a day. And just to get something in there so that way we can get our system upgraded. And of course, I'm not going to be keeping all of the original hardware in here. Probably going to save the memory, the processor, whatever these cards are. These look important because there's a loom going down there. Hello, boot. There's a loom going down around here, and that's got to be for something. So I'm going to leave that there. What do we got here that looks like possibly a fan? Yep, auxiliary fan. Not sure what these are. But whatever it is, I could probably just hook this up to a Molex connector and call it a day. Because I see we got 12 volt, 5 volt, and 2 ground. 2 grounds going into 1 peg, that's funny. And this one looks like we got the same deal, so that's not too bad. I just don't know what it's for, and if it's not for anything in particular, it keeps falling on me. And if it's not for anything in particular, we're probably just going to go ahead and delete that anyways. But let's make sure that we have everything we could possibly need in here. What is this? What does that thing say? I don't know. Looks kind of important, so maybe something that we would want to look into keeping at some point. What does it go to, though? Oh, power button. Okay, that's nothing major. That can be rewired without an issue. That is not a big deal whatsoever. It's just a matter of getting that all disassembled and figuring out what goes where. Looks like we got a little bit of action down here, too. But let's get that power supply in there, so that's one last thing. That did not make any sense. Should have said one more thing in there. And one less thing to do, but I'm not sure if that'll fit 100%. But from what I could tell, it looks like it fits. Oh yeah, it looks like our screw holes line up a little bit. I can't really see all too well, but got a little nice gap here, so a little bit of gap action. It's good for cooling, I suppose. But pushing it all the way to the side here, it looks like it lines up relatively nicely. Other than, of course, this little gap right here, but I'm not worried about a gap. This is just going to be temporary, hopefully, because I did actually get... Yeah, this is a mess here. I actually, to make some more progress on the power supply itself, I actually did order some more stuff. Let's get the light turned on here. And I got these little voltage regulator modules, because... If I remember correctly, this power supply doesn't have 3.3 volt on it. So that's what these are going to come in handy for, is I'm going to use some 12 volt off of that main rail and step that down to 3.3 volt. And I got quite a few of these, so that way I can have up to 20 amps. I don't know exactly how many I have in here. I think I have 10, and each one can do 3 amps, I believe. 3 amps maximum. So after about 6 or 7 of them, we should be good to go. Don't know how I'm going to throw them in there just yet, but we still got to wire this stuff up, but we'll cover that some other time. Fun fact, I didn't really plan any of this out, but it seems to be working just fine. Where are all my Phillips head screwdrivers? It seems like they've all disappeared. But, yeah, so going back to the power supply situation. Yeah, I did not plan anything out at all, but I'm actually quite surprised that this does actually fit and it does have some mounting holes for an ATX power supply, except for that one. That one's, there's no mount for that. But as you can see, we've still got our little gap here for ventilation. Got it turned this way, so that way we can have a vent going out the back for the power supply. Yeah, now I just need to find a Phillips head screw. Aha. Leaves everywhere. Okay, so it just happened to be in the junk. And if it seems like I'm in a rush, I'm actually in the middle of my lunch break taking these videos. Take every moment you can get, because I don't get very many. Oh, come on, get on there. There we go. And these are the screws from the original power supply as well. So I'm actually very surprised that this fits as well as it does, minus one mount, but that's not really going to do anything. I've mounted these in here with only one screw before. Not ideal, also not upside down like this, but it does get the job done. Okay, just got to figure out what these are for, and then I'll feel comfortable taking everything out. That power supply looks so goofy in here, just so small compared to the other one that came out to like right here or whatever. It's so tiny. I think it actually came out to like right here. It was much, much bigger. It's like two of those. But that does make sense because there was two power supplies in it. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and take our front panel off. Because essentially what this server is just a giant desktop. That's all. Nothing crazy. Well, it's got a little bit of crazy stuff, but that's not really all too important. But if you think of it this way, all a server is just a computer. I need a lot more room. Maybe I should clean one of these days. That would probably be ideal. Looks like I gotta take something else off. What am I missing here? Why does this feel like it's gonna break? All right, when in doubt, put it back. Don't want to break that. But something over here is caught. Not exactly sure what yet. All right, I managed to get the front fascia off. It just ended up being like a little latched hitch type hook thing. It felt kind of sketchy pulling on it, but I just yanked on it some more. When in doubt, give her the beans, I suppose. But everything's working good. Door still looks good, if I can get it to shut. So we now got the front fascia off, so we can go ahead and further inspect what we got going on here. Got a disk drive that we'll probably be deleting, or adding a second one too. That would be nice. Then we got all of our disk drives. Whoops, look, pay attention. There we go. And we got all of our disk bays. We even got some discs in here, which these are all getting replaced. None of these are going to be staying. Probably just going to go ahead and, ooh, 1 terabyte. Do we have anything good in here other than 1 terabyte hard drives? All right, we got a green power, whatever the hell that is. 500 gig. Nothing crazy. Get back in there. I think we just got a bunch of 1 terabytes. That looks like I don't see a capacity on this one, but I think it might be a 500 gig, but I could be wrong on that. Yeah, I see a 500 at the beginning of that WWN. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Oh, ST1000N. That's a 1 terabyte. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Another 1 terabyte. All right, got a lot of 1 terabytes in here. Looks like 600 gigabyte. That's strange. Okay. And another 600 gig. Okay, weird. Probably not going to be keeping those 600s, but definitely going to be reusing those 1 terabytes if they are actually 1 terabyte. I'm just going by the model number, and I could be entirely wrong on that. Then we just got a blank here, which I don't think I can use for anything. Yeah, I can't use that for nothing. But I was actually thinking about repopulating this with a whole bunch of SATA SSDs that I have. Because, I don't know if I showed you the rack over here, right next to the trash. We got a whole bunch of these SATA SSDs back here. And of course we got hard drives that are essentially junk. These are all garbage, essentially, but I'm gonna try to reclaim some of the valuable metal in it, if there is any. Whatever is valuable, I'm gonna go ahead and sell. But for these older systems here, I'm probably not even gonna be able to get $1 for them with the processor and heatsink, so I'm probably just gonna go ahead and sell off the heat sinks, grind up the rest of the motherboard, see if I can get some gold, get the copper out of there, and just whatever else is somewhat valuable. Now these graphics cards, oh, got really bad hiccups. Got a GTX 760, old school, and magnets, get out of here. Then we have a GTX 1050 back there, I believe a 4 gig. I think they only come in 4 gig, but a GTX 1050. So that's nice. Yeah, let's see. Yep. GTX 1050. Oh, what's that, 2 gigabyte? That's disgusting. All right, 2 gig. And there goes my SSDs. Oh well. But anyways, gonna have some good things going on with this server now that we got that power supply in there. We just gotta figure out what those 2 plugs are, or those 3 plugs rather, and go from there. So digging further into this, it looks like this connector here that plugged into the motherboard is actually just for SATA power, because it's only going to this SSD here and this disk drive. And then as you can see right here, if we just follow these lines, it comes right out to this wiring harness. So that we could just go ahead and omit entirely. But this other one here, this appears to be powering the back plane. Maybe both back planes for the drive bays. So let's go ahead and remove these fans here quick. Oh my. Okay, it says squeeze, but I don't think... There's got to be some sort of way to this. All right, I was just pressing the wrong thing. So it's actually this, but now... Oh, okay, that came off pretty easy. All right, so now we just do the other one. Bada bing, bada boom, we are open. Let's see, and it looks like I was correct. That is the power for the back plane, specifically that back plane, and I think it pigtails off into this one here as well. But fortunately enough, it looks like it uses, I believe that's 5 volt, 12 volt in ground, so that should be super easy to turn into a Molex connector, because Molex also, if I can find an example here on this power supply, hopefully this has one. There we go, right here. So Molex actually, I don't know which orientation it is, but Molex does have 5 volt on one side, or whatever the red wire is supposed to be, and 12 volt on the other, and the center 2 are actually ground. So we could actually make a Molex connector with those wires and basically be set there. So that really handles every single one of our requirements to get this system up and running with an ATX system. It should be fine powering this, because these are essentially just SATA power, even though I know it's like SAS or something that's actually run on these. But just to get them powered, we should be okay when it comes to using Molex, just because it uses the same type of power that's going into it already. And I only know that because of the harness that we butchered earlier on that dead power supply. All right, so yeah, we got our 5 volt, 12 volt, and ground. So yeah, we should be able to use a connector like this and essentially just plug it and be good to go. But I'm going to try to do it the correct way and see if I can get like a female end for this to plug into. I don't know if this is considered the male or the female, but I know this is the one that goes into the other connector. So I'll call this one the male, even though the pegs go into it. I'm not sure the correct terminology for it, but yeah, I'll call this one the male end. So we're going to go ahead and make a female harness just for that backplane. And it appears I do have a already terminated set of Molex connectors, which I'm not sure if I would trust that for a GPU, but oh well, is what it is. But I'm not sure if I can actually reuse those pins on the inside. If I can reuse those, then that solves all of our problems. Even if it's slightly sloppy and it works, that means it works and I don't have to buy new stuff. Alright, I was able to get one out without damaging the connector, but it looks like I am not going to be able to reuse these unless I get really creative in unfolding those flaps. Here, let me use the optical zoom there. And unfolding those flaps, but at that point, I don't even know if it's worth it because these are probably super dirt cheap. Alright, now I got my Molex connectors and my little cheat sheet that shows me the voltages, so let's go ahead and see if we can get this connector. Freaking bright light. I mean, it does wonders for the garage for filming, but damn, that thing is freaking bright. 20 bucks for that thing. Unbelievable. All right, so made this little printout because my memory sucks, and I got this bag of connectors. So what we're gonna try to do is take this right here and convert it over to a Molex connector, because as you can see, I have plenty of Molex connectors on this power supply. However, I don't have whatever this is. I'm not sure what this is. It's only got 3 pins. It's got 2 5-volt in one lead. Okay, that's all right. Whatever. And a 12-volt, 2 12-volt, and 1 ground. Not the most robust ground, but we could probably make this work. So I am going to see. Oh, come on. Got it. All right, perfect. We got our pins. What about the sockets? I have a feeling these are the double-sided things for whatever reason. I'm not too sure. Did I even get the correct thing? Let me double check. Oh yeah, we're golden. We're good. I had a little mini heart attack there that we weren't going to be doing all right here. So looks like, going by this diagram, it looks like that pin 1, which is on this side here. Oh, they're even numbered. Wow, I didn't even notice that before. Okay, cool. That makes it super easy. So we have our little cheat sheet here. So let's go ahead and try to make a cable. Who needs the right tools when you have snips and needle nose pliers? All right. Man, this thing is looking like a disaster. Let's get these fans out. Thankfully, these use a standard fan connector. So no re-terminating there. And what do we have here? I think this is an HBA. I don't know what those 2 things are. They're probably NICs. Yes, they are. Oh, 3 possibly gigabit NICs? I don't know. Maybe 10 gig? Who knows? We'll find out at some point. Probably not today. Definitely not today, actually. Looks like somebody already had a smack at this thing before I got a hold of it. And stole a RAM stick. All right. Let's stop goofing around and see if we can get this cable terminated to the way that we need it. And this cable, I think this is the one that I said before that we can just do without. Yeah, this is the one that we could do without because this is just literally SATA power. So let's go ahead and get rid of that thing. Oh, don't want to lose my little special daughter board there. Funny enough, it uses a PCIe connector and works. Alright, don't know what I'm going to do with that at some other point. Probably nothing. Right. So I'm going to try to strip some of this jacket away. Get these connectors out. And then try to mock it up as close to that as possible. our new motherboard, our new platform in here, we should be able to just fire this thing right up like a regular computer. I don't think we need any special drivers because of the HBA. I may swap this one out for an HBA that I have, just because I have one. I'm not sure if I have this connector though. I think I only have like a SATA. Yeah, I don't have that. So hopefully this all just works, because I'm going to be firing it up with Linux. I'm not going to be messing around with Windows Server or anything like that, because ew, it's disgusting. And second, I prefer Linux. Alright, so that is the daunting part taken care of now. Now, I'm starting to wonder whether I should actually go back to this power supply situation here and actually finish it. Well, I do have those voltage step downs that I got for the 3.3 volt. However, it may be a bit difficult to get that all working appropriately and with enough amperage to be able to power the system. I'm still going to attempt it, because it would be really cool to have dual power supplies that are, redundant power supplies, just in case we have a failure, or just for bragging rights, because I made my own power supply, kind of. Well, not really. I took 2 power supplies and made one, so I guess that's what we'll call it instead. But that is also down the pipeline. I got the stuff right here. Everything is still here, including the screws that are on top of the speaker, so I'm happy for that. But I want to see this thing fire up first, before I go ahead and make that full conversion. I'm not really too worried about anything major, because I have literally this entire shelf of hardware to choose from, and I'm going to try to use an AMD platform, an AM4 platform preferably, because I do have a Ryzen 5 1600. While it's not the latest and greatest, by far, it was from 2017, it is 6 cores and 12 threads, which is more than what this server actually came with. So this server only came with up to 4 threads. I can't remember if it was a dual core processor or what, but it only came up with up to 4 threads, and you can't really upgrade it past that, at least not on the stock hardware. So we're going to use a special motherboard, and I'm just gonna give it a whole new everything, and hopefully that makes a very nice, very useful server. If you guys like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, and I'll see you in the next video.